Hello, I'm Roxy Monroe. I'm with KidLit TV, and we are here at TLA in Austin, Texas. And I'm quite excited to be interviewing Barry Weinstein.
No, Wittenstein.
Wittenstein. Oh,
Unbelievable.
We've been practicing this. Oh, okay. And he's going to talk about blush. He's going to talk about a very, very cool new book he's been working on. We don't have the actual book. It's, I guess, being printed now. Here's the cover. And we're thrilled to say that Barry and Jerry Pinkney worked together on this. So it's like, and this is with Holiday House, with whom I also work. And to give them a little shout out, of all the publishers in North America, 6 of them were chosen as nominees as the best children's book publisher in all of North America, and only 3 of them were from the United States, and Holiday House was one. So yay for our publisher.
Yay.
Short and sweet.
Yay for our publisher. Now let me ask you a couple of questions. I'm tired of, no, go ahead.
Oh, so you work with Neil Porter, right?
I work with Neil Porter, yes. He's my editor.
And so did you come to him with this idea, or how did that work?
Well, I went to a SCBWI conference in 2016, and I heard him speak. That was in LA, and when we got back to New York, I sent him one manuscript. He rejected it, but he said that the character reminded him of Holden Caulfield. I was like, oh, yikes. Oh my God, that's so crazy. I sent him another manuscript, which was the A Place to Land, and he immediately loved it, and within like 3-4 days he wanted to sign it. So it was kind of an amazing trip to LA, and then coming back here and then signing it. But that was 3 years ago. It's taken a long time. Books
do take a long time. So when you found out who your illustrator was, what was your reaction?
Well, it was unbelievable. It was, I couldn't have wished for anything better than having Jerry illustrate this. It was a dream come true, really.
I mean, it's such an honor. He is so wonderful. I've known him for years. He's just like fabulous and great to work with. So hold up the cover again. Let's look at it again. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. Now, I understand. I had seen some of the early pages in this book, and I realized that he has used several techniques, not only traditional illustration, but there's even an element of collage in there, right? How do you feel about that kind of modern approach?
You know, I'm no expert on the illustrations. Personally, I do stick figures and profiles with little paint apps. You know, I've only been doing this for about 5 years, so my depth of knowledge isn't great. But after I found out that Jerry was going to do the book, I went back and looked at his work and fell in love with it. And the great thing about working with an illustrator is that they interpret your words, and they make the words really come alive. And Jerry did that exactly with my words, and he gave them new meaning and new context, and made them breathe. So I could not have been happier.
So tell me now about, it's just such an honor to work with him. You guys are such a dynamic duo now. Could you tell us a little bit about your research and how you developed the line in the book and the sequencing?
Well, this story wasn't really known or spoken about. In the adult nonfiction world, it was, but only in the early 2000s. When Clarence Jones, Dr. King's attorney, wrote a book called Behind the Dream, and he detailed all the meetings that he was in and how the speech came together that in 1963. And I was fascinated by that. I'd never heard that story. I didn't really even know that much about the March on Washington. I was only about 9 years old when it happened, and I was much more interested in baseball at that time, being a kid on Long Island in white suburbia. And even as an adult, I didn't really know that much about it. And so I kept reading about how the speech was put together, and it just interested me. And then the next question is, is this something that kids might find interesting? And I thought, yeah, it is. And then I thought, yeah, but there are only about 100 books about Dr. King. So how does this, separate itself? And what format can I write this? I mean, as a writer, is it, prose, half prose? Is it poetry? Is it, how do I get from here to the printed page?
What the construct are you going to wrap the content around?
And I have a background in poetry, and I don't know if I tried another approach, but it came out as a kind of a non-rhyming, like free verse, and it seems to have worked.
So you went down to Washington, I guess, to do some research down there, or where did you actually have to travel?
There's something called the internet. Have you looked into it? It's pretty amazing. You can sit in your PJs and click, and you. No, I mean I got some books from the library, bought a couple of books, did research online. I spoke to Dr. Walker, I believe his name was, who was very old, couldn't give me many details. A lot of his advisors have passed on. And so there were only about 3 or 4 books that spoke about this. Now, again, it's been out, the information's been written about over the last 15 years or so, but not in the KidLit world. And so I just did research, reading online and getting books.
Wow.
I like books.
Yes.
Books are they're really great.
I think you're.
Information. Wait a minute.
His adoring crowd is out there, people.
Oh, you're right there.
Give us a few more minutes. So I understand that you've had a rather eclectic career.
Well, that's the perfect word. Graduated from college with a BA in English, did a lot of poetry reading on stage, performed poetry in San Francisco in front of drunk audiences. A bartender, a cab driver, worked as a songwriter for 10 years, worked for a digital photographer, wrote for Major League Baseball and was a web editor. Went back to college to get a master's in my late 50s. Was a substitute teacher for 3 years, which was invaluable to, and then fell into the KidLit thing. So it's been a circuitous kind of journey.
Yeah, it doesn't sound inconsistent, though, if you started off as an English major and also, so now you've kind of come back to your roots.
Well, I've always been creative, always been a writer, and took a lot of online classes and writing memoir and writing greeting cards. So, I mean, I always wanted to, express myself, and never dreamt that I would be in the KidLit world. But here I am.
And what is your next project? Do you have anything in the works?
Well, Roxy, as you know, you don't reveal your secrets, but I have pitching 3 or 4 books as we speak, 3 or 4 manuscripts. Some being considered, some have been rejected already. I get rejected more than I get accepted. Not like you. Every book you write, my understanding is, what I've heard, that every book you write, signed and becomes a smash. Is that wrong?
I don't show it until I have a lot of things in my flat files that don't see the light of day.
Really? Oh, see, I pitch a lot of stuff and get rejected a lot.
So, have you ever been to Austin before?
Actually, about 10 years ago, my wife and I came down here for a little vacation. And so, yeah, we came to Austin. And by the way, my son is turning 27 today. So happy birthday, Sam. But
Happy birthday. birthday, Sam.
But we came here with Sam, and when you're here with like I don't know, he was like 10, and it's hard traveling with the kids. So this is my first time kind of being downtown. I love it.
And also, before we wrap up, I learned that this is your first conference. Wow, so how do you feel about it? I love them.
Well, the carpeting has a nice aroma to it. I'm wondering if no, I mean I love it. I love meeting all the other authors and signing the books. It's been a great experience. I'm gonna miss this when I go home to the Bronx and walk my dogs again.
I understand, by the way, before we close, that you are one of the interviewees on the new Children's Book Council CBC celebration 100 author thing coming up.
Yes, I was interviewed in Manhattan, and I nailed it. I just nailed it. They won't tell me that. But I know that I probably was the best, and I feel very good about that. But they won't tell me that. See,
Yeah.
that's what makes me angry.
They didn't tell me you were, otherwise I would have been more intimidated.
I'm livid, really. Do I look livid? I'm livid that I wasn't, because I expect. By the way, is this the end?
Well, I'm afraid we have coming up the president of Texas Library Association, so if you want to hang around.
Just let him wait. Okay, no, I understand. Well, it was wonderful.
And we'll say a big goodbye.
Bye.